We are live. Great. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Hello.
My name is David, and I'm a first-year PhD student in the Faculty of Education. And this is my research proposal. So I thank you for joining me. The title of my research proposal is Changing Practices and Changing Perspectives of Pedagogical Technologists in Schools. What I'll do first is I'll explain my research question, my objectives, then I'll start defining what these things are, because you may not be familiar with maybe some of these terms. And then I'll provide a review of the literature, a catalyst for why I'm doing this stuff, and then I'll go over my research design and methodology, okay? And hopefully that'll take 10 minutes. Let's give it a go. All right. So these are my research questions. The main research question is, how does a pedagogical technologist impact a school's ways of working with and through technology? Again, I'm going to define some of these later on, but I purposely present these to you first. All right? And these are some of the sub-questions that I'll be trying to answer by comparing cases of pedagogical technologists. And these are a few of my deliverables, my objectives, and you can just read those things. I want to explore people, and I want to explore schools. All right? And I think this is important too, developing success criteria for pedagogical technologists in schools. All right, now let's talk about these terms. First of all, what exactly is technology? And we have mental models of what technology is. I think that technology can be any and all ways of doing, even philosophy, language, they are technology. For this study, I find that a bit too broad. A bit too narrow, just tools, like a chair is technology. But again, this is too narrow because there are many ways to use a chair. You can throw a chair, as they're doing in Greece. Right? You can sit on a chair. All right? Now, what Franklin proposes in the real world of technology is technology encompasses a tool and a predisposed way of using that tool. Okay, so all of us can more or less agree that we are sitting at these tables. We're sitting at these tables on chairs. So this is a particular use of technology. All right, and that's the one that I'm carrying into this research. Okay, pedagogical technologist. I created this word. Why? Because this person, this role is new. It's very much not something that's on the landscape. It's emerging, this role in schools. Not in every school, only certain schools. That's why I use this word. When you were listening to Diana Lorillard speaking, she used the pedagogical technologist. She used this word like, I think, some kind of technologist, something. Like at the end of her presentation, she mentioned the pedagogical technologist, but she just used a different term to describe the pedagogical technologist. I'll be very concise. A pedagogical technologist is not a teacher. The pedagogical technologist is a full-time staff member in a school whose primary duty is to support the pedagogical aspect of teaching through IT. So the pedagogical technologist is not a teacher, and the pedagogical technologist is not a technician either. This person is not supporting the technical aspect of teaching through IT, but supporting the pedagogical aspect of teaching through IT. All right? Ways of working with and through technology. I purposely made this a bit broad. Originally, I was thinking about just teaching through technology, what happens in the classroom using technology. But I realized that the pedagogical technologist, in order to improve teaching through technology in a classroom, has to do a lot more to the school than just go into a classroom and fix something. Because again, where you're dealing with complex systems, there are different ways of doing, including professional development, leadership, policy, that need to be changed such that ultimately the teaching in the classroom through technology is improved. All right, so that's why I use this That's what is basically encompassed in ways of working with and through technology. Non-mainstream school. I'm dealing with schools in Hong Kong. There are schools that follow a local curriculum. And then there are schools that do not follow local curriculum. And they also have a lot of flexibility in terms of hiring teachers, in terms of finances, in terms of admitting students. These are non-mainstream schools. Three important types are international schools, private independent schools, and DSS schools in Hong Kong. They are considered non-mainstream compared to government and aided schools in terms of what they can and cannot do. Okay? So those are my definitions. Let me talk about the catalyst. Wow. I didn't know pedagogical technologists existed until maybe the fall of 2010. And I was at this conference called the 21st Century Learning Conference, and this was held at West Island School in Pok Fu Lam nearby. And I met these people, and I'm like, who are you guys? They were not teachers, they were not technicians, they were full-time support staff, pedagogical support staff at these schools. And they came from certain kinds of schools. I mean, this is a bit misleading, but again, they came from certain types of schools. They didn't just come from any random school in Hong Kong. They came from certain schools in Hong Kong. And what's more, it seemed like these people had certain personality types. And that was very, very telling. Because one critical incident, in my understanding, was we were just on a bus. Right? And you know how when you just ride a bus, it's not like you just start talking to people next to you, right? Especially if you don't know them. But this one person, a pedagogical technologist from like Singapore, a non-mainstream school there, was asking about like using e-portfolios, how to best deploy e-portfolios in a certain context. And then all of a sudden, all these people just started chipping in. And that was very special. These people were heretofore strangers, yet they started talking to each other. And I thought that was... There was something about that, right? The individual and the school. Some kind of interplay there. All right, let me scroll out. So then I did a little investigation. What's going on in the literature? And the closest that I can come to a pedagogical technologist in literature is the IT coordinator. All right, but the IT coordinator, again, is something very distinct from the pedagogical technologist. Because now you guys might have an idea of the IT coordinator, so does the literature. And generally, the IT coordinator is involved in a lot of technical support, in addition to perhaps pedagogical support. The IT coordinator generally is a teacher first, primarily, and then the area of responsibility is IT coordination. All right? And I got that impression from reading these international studies, as well as some 2 local studies in international schools, no less. All right. And then, just to triangulate, I thought about my own experience, because I've been an IT coordinator before, too. I'd never known about the pedagogical technologist, but I had worked, I'd been teaching for 7 years. I worked at several schools, and at 4 of these schools, no, well, there should be another one here, but at these places, I was the IT coordinator, all right? And I was primarily a teacher. I was not working to change the system. I did some perfunctory things with pedagogy, one-off things, but mostly I was just helping to answer technical questions and to do this or that, all right? So I was like, okay, well, these guys are new. This is very curious. So let me talk about some literature and understanding where are these guys coming from, these pedagogical technologists. And we can frame the pedagogical technologist in terms of where a school is at. Not every school, again, can support a pedagogical technologist. Why? Because schools are going through all different levels of change with regard to technology. Some schools may be, for example, using information technology on a limited basis.